may have reset here, so we're going to go ahead and go back into our server. What we're going to be doing today is I'm going to give you a walkthrough of our village that we've got so far set up. We haven't decorated the buildings yet, but I'll take you inside, show you some of the layout and designs that we've got inside. Then I'm going to be showing you our stable build. I'm going to start construction on here. All of our construction is done by gathering the resources ourselves, making the pieces that we need to do the construction. No god modes. We actually play on other servers. We're not admins, and we don't use admin controls. So just that as a heads up, I want to say a little bit more pure game players that way. Spawning things in is great if you're an admin, but going through the whole process I think is better. So we're loading in here. As you can see, we are up on 11E on this server. That's up by the Bridge of the Betrayer, which you can see over there in the distance. This is a look from across the little creek at some of the buildings that we've begun or have finished for our village layout. Now behind us, we also back here in the corner, we also have our temple layout and our map room. And what we try to do is get all the temples to lay out in a perfect circle around one another, with the map room in the center. And now right now the map room doesn't have a structure over it, but it will in a future video. And my wife usually does those, so I will be broadcasting as she's laying that out and as she's building that as well. As you can see, the way she's got it laid out, she always starts with the base right here. Now this is a perfect spot right here in the top left hand corner of 11E to build this. There is a ruin here, and we'll go ahead and show that spot on the map so that it's the Ring of Silence right up here to the left of the Bridge of the Betrayer. It's a non-animal spawn spot. There's no metal spawns or anything like that you have to worry about interrupting here. But that ruin gives you a perfect layout to do this kind of circle build with your map room and with your temples. That'll get all your temples in a complete circle, and the lights will go up together as you level up your different temples. Now she's already tested this to as you can see, she's already made temples. She always makes a bunch of temples to lay them out on the different circles to make sure that they'll all fit within that within the space. We have the map room here, of course, laid out, but this is a perfect little spot. It's kind of out of the way of the rest of the village, but at the same time gives you close proximity with your other builds. So we'll make our way over here to the village. I'll do a walkthrough of some of the buildings that we have done so far. Give you an idea of the construction types and materials, things like that we have used. We really like this area because you have the lake access right here with the water for fishing traps and things along that way to get your ichor and other things that you're going to need, fish to process and make oil out of. This first building with the tower with the lighthouse that you can see coming up here, well, the very first building is our fishing hut. We'll go in here and show you the way we've laid that out. It's a pretty simple design. Just starts out with the main circle. You start off with the main small circle using the wedge pieces of any of the different not mods, but the different types of material that you want to use. This is our bridge going across, of course. So we always do a fishing hut like this. We always put our fishing traps inside of a building. You never know when an admin might change the settings and open containers to make your fishing traps and other containers accessible by other players. So we always use this option. Plus, it keeps the traps from just laying out in the open. I think that kind of ruins the aesthetic look of your builds. As you can see, we had started off with the foundation, sunk them down into the water and then come up a level with those foundations. Went ahead and left those bottom ones stone because they're not seen. But as you can see, our fish traps work perfectly in this type of setting. You can make a little a half moon or a circle with your traps. So this building here that we're looking at with the lighthouse on the back side of it, we always put a lighthouse right here next to the water to try to get that aesthetic, because we also build boats that I'll show you in just a moment. This is our tavern and our inn. Now you're going to see different types of material here. We used arena, we used some of the stable pieces as well. There's insulated wood in the ceiling pieces as well. And then you're going to see the yamatai. The yamatai matches up really well with a lot of the different types of building materials, especially arena. So it really creates that nice aesthetic look. And up here it matches your terrain. You know, you up here in the snow zone. Now the one good thing about this particular spot, if you'll notice, I'm wearing warm weather armor. But over in the top left hand corner you can also see that I'm not suffering from cold damage. And even though you have the snow here in this spot, this is one of the few spots that you can actually build in the snow area and not get any kind of cold effect. Once you cross the water over there and get over towards our world map, you will start to suffer some of those effects, but this spot right here beside the bridge is one of the really good spots for that you don't suffer any of the type of those damage. Now I know I need to change my door, for those of you who may notice that. Now this is going to be going into our tavern here. We've not decorated it up yet or affixed the tables, things like that, which we will, but you'll see the dual staircase design. We choose to put our dancers up on platforms. That way it keeps our space, our floor space, open for tables and other items as well. And what we've done upstairs here is this layout here will give you 5 rooms, and that'll give you 2 rooms over to each side. I'll go ahead and go in here. Like I said, we're not decorated. We also put a little balcony that way you can come out and view the river, view the boats as they come in here and dock, if you like to RP it that way. In the next room here, now this room, the balcony will be facing the front of the building. You come out on the balcony here. This gives the front look. You can still get a glimpse over to the crafting and the pier as it is set up over there. And then this will be overlooking some of our other builds that's going to go along with this village look. Now the rooms on the other side is same way, one facing off back to the river, one facing to the front of the building. Now this room here is would be the suite or the master suite room. It's a lot larger, as you can see. In this room will be, you know, like if you had a little bit more of an important guest staying at your inn, if you're RPing, if you're on an RP server. This is a pretty simple build. You can start off by your square. You know, I'm not much into just completely square structures, so I always try to find angles to make the aesthetic a lot better, make the build a little bit more unique. One way you can do that is to add what we've added outside on the porch here. It gives you a little different shape other than just that square tower course going up to the back. And we'll go up in here really quick just to give you an idea of how that does in the view from up there. Just as a few game tips as well, some things that we have figured out in here. This course is going to be our brewing section where we keep our cooks on our brewers. Got some fridges in here, some juicers, and some dryers as well. Now if you notice, We did hit the elevator button there. That there still is a small glitch that Conan has not fixed yet. This last update has taken care of a lot of the late bugs as far as getting stuck on your beds and getting stuck, especially when you pull your bracelet and return to different areas or use the map room. But it's not fixed everything. So just to be aware of that if you've been away a while and or still suffering some of that. That's not just on your side. That's also on Conan's side. That's a bug fix that we're hoping they will get fixed as soon as possible. So we've put a balcony up here at the top of our lighthouse as well. You can come up, man. You just really get that overall beauty of this spot, of this area. You know, you've got the volcano and the Black Keep, all those Bridge of Betrayer within your view here. Makes the aesthetic just that much sweeter for this type of build. You're close enough to God's Claw to gather tons of iron, and it just get a really good look. Now I apologize for that animal pen down there. It is not mine. It was here when we came over to this spot. We are trying to contact that clan to get them to move it since they don't have any structures over in this area. I'm not sure why it's even here. That's a personal gripe out of the way. But this just gives you, I'm not sure why that is there. Just take care of that. It just gives you an idea. Now this tower here, this lighthouse portion, I built the main part of all the tavern below in the inn. My wife always does the towers and lighthouses, that type of thing. She also does the world maps of the temples. I saved this portion for her to let her complete it. Need to change those pieces right there, I see. A lot of you guys on our community page, I've gamed with you in the past. We're on other servers together. We will be doing some walkthroughs of our structures on the other servers that we play on as well. This is a relatively new server that we've only been on for 3 or 4 days. Really good settings. Construction costs are pretty low. Taming is not instant, so you don't get bored right off the bat. For all processes. Now the admin has her settings to where respawn of trees, rocks, and all that is really close to your building. So these trees and things, the bushes you see here, I can take those out, and within just a few minutes they can be back. So this give you an idea if you're an admin and you're wanting to try to get that setting, what that setting. You want to keep that aesthetic for your builders, especially. It's a sad thing when you build and then every tree within a square, basically, it feels like sometimes disappears. But you don't want it too close. But these trees continue to respawn. It kind of hides the builder's building here. Doesn't get to show it off as well as it should be. Okay, now these buildings here that we're coming up to now, this is a construction and pier. I put all that together. If you notice the front end here, I tried to make that look like maybe a little longboat that had been just constructed or placed here in front of the build. I'll decorate it. We'll take these lights off and I'll decorate it with barrels and crates that make it look like supplies have been unloaded or waiting to be reloaded on the boats. Now I always make enough for 6 rooms, 3 on each side. 2 will be smaller, and the other 4 will be about this size right here. That gives you enough room, or gives us enough room. We can have our blacksmiths or our construction tables, some storage. Now that blacksmith bench will have to be fixed a little bit. It's a little too far up from the wall. You don't want them super close, especially if the admin changes it over to open crates or open boxes, because people will glitch in your walls and try to break into your stuff. That just gives you an idea of the way we've done it here. Forge room over here tries to just give that aesthetic. Now we'll be putting up the signs, the merchant signs from that you learn in the library to separate, show which rooms these are. Those are really cool signs, a lot better looking than the ones you can just write on yourself. It goes by, we passed here. This is the armor and tanners are together. The smaller room here, we put the cauldrons in as well, some juicers in, everything that fits with, that you don't want to have to be running from room to room all the time. So you want some storage. You want to be able to keep the items you need and the equipment you need to process for the cauldrons or for your armorers or tanners, things along that line. In here we have the dismantler. We also have artisan tables in this room. Not a lot of storage. Artisan tables kind of hold their own, as little as you use those most of the time. In here we have construction and our torturer's bench. Light storage, not a lot in here. There again, got some dryers. Now it's the same way in the back porch. I got kind of that longboat look built onto the back. I always do that out of insulated wood. I tell you, the new stable wood, it would fit into this really good as well. There is a dark wall that looks like it has reinforced corners. That would make really good building materials for this type of setup as well. I've even thought about doing a boat or two out of it. And the Yamatite walls, I think, would make a neat looking ship as well if you want to have a different color at your pier. These are set in. You can see some of the pillars down there. Sometimes I try to hide those. This build is newer, so I haven't. Got your ramps that come up on the boats here. The boats are simple layout. I only go 2 wide. You start to get much bigger than 2 wide, and the aesthetic changes, and it's harder to build on, and it just doesn't look. The shape is not quite right. A lot of people are better at boat building than me, so you might not have that type of trouble. But with these boats, it lets you be able to get down on the inside. We'll put storage, crates, barrels, things along that line down into the bottom of the boats, showcasing, that they're coming in to unload or be reloaded as well. These boats will also get shield mounts put on the side of them where we can hang some of the larger shields to give that kind of a little more Viking look. Now, if you notice the way this pier is too, if you get up high, I should have pointed that out when we was in the lighthouse. This pier layout, it's kind of set up where it looks a lot like the hilt of a sword. If you notice how it is here, up here is where the blade would extend out, and then back down here at this end is more of the hilt itself. Nice aesthetic, to be honest. I didn't plan it out that way. It just kind of worked, and it is something that I will keep from now on, because I think it adds to the look there again, and to whatever you're trying to get set up and build here. Now, a lot of people do giant builds, giant structure builds, and there's some really nice builders out there. There's several good builders on this server, and I know several myself personally, share ideals. I'm not a one huge building or wall off type of person. I like to have more of something that it looks like that it's functional, that there would be people living there or traveling through there and using those buildings. Now, this building that we're looking at here to the left, on this server, everything has to be on foundations. So instead of having a thrall wheel just kind of out in the open setup, I always create a structure for them, and make that structure a different combo. So we'll go inside here. You'll see the thrall wheel as it's all set up. Not got anything decorated, or some of the stations moved up here that we will have in the future. But this gives a really cool look. You can have your thrall wheel. This is where they're being worked, and then you can set up some sails downstairs like we have done here. It's got a few different levels. Now, what we've done with this building is there is a kind of a small cliff on the back side of this build. So what I've done is just dropped down and used that aesthetic to get some different looks. You can get some different levels. Put a little bridge here to go over to that little storage area there. Able to go down, and this is going into our sails. Now, I only put 3 sails in. Don't think I need any more of that. It's just an aesthetic thing for me anyway. I did the inside of the sails out of arena to make it more of that hardened look, not so comfortable. All the cells look the same. There we go. And we'll go back up and out of the building here. Buildings will look a lot better, and once we get the decorating started and finished, we'll do other walkthroughs to show you more about that, how we do, and maybe give you some ideas. Ask that you share ideas if you have any to our community page or on YouTube as well here. This is one of our first videos. I'm hoping that you'll enjoy it very much. Thank you for coming. And our next, here in about 10 minutes, I'm going to start another video on our stable build, which we'll be constructing right over here. Right here, this is a piece of land right here in front of me. We're going to use for stables on this server. All right. Hope that you've enjoyed, and look forward to having you come back.